everybody, welcome back. So today I have a lot of exciting things going on and I can't wait to share it with you. So if you are on the Craft Buddies page, you would have seen all the excitement surrounding shrink sheets. If you're not on their page or their group, you definitely have to join. There are so many exciting things happening. My head's actually spinning from it, but I'm loving it. So one of the new products that was released were these gorgeous Gelato watercolor crayons. So this is the Faber-Castell brand. These look amazing. So this has 28 gelatos, it has a palette knife, it has 3 stamps and a paintbrush. So the amazing thing about these is that you can use them as a crayon. I think more as like a pastel, where you can sort of blend it into each other, or you can actually use it as like a watercolor paint. So you can add water to it. It looks amazing. So I'm super excited to use these stamps. I don't know if you can see them, but they're in there under there. So I am super excited to open this and have a look. There is a reason I'm telling you about this. So the other thing that is happening is Craft Buddies is going to be releasing shrink sheets. Now, a lot of people have shown interest, have asked what it is, how does it work. So today I'm going to run through a whole bunch of experiments so that we can figure out how they work, what's the best method of using them, and different ways that you can use it. I'm super excited because I'm sure you know I absolutely love doing experiments. So I have a piece here that I've actually cut off. So I have done a little bit of experimenting on my own. I just wanted to see what the different results would be, and I'm going to share them with you. So we have the white one, and then I have some that I have designed and that have been printed. So we have those. So we have one that we're going to color in with different mediums. We've got one that's printed with color. I've got a plain one, and then you also get clear ones. So the thing with the clear ones is that certain printers will not print them. So that is very important. You have to remember that. Some printers actually have like a little sensor in them that stops them from registering if there's like a clear something in there. So I'm not sure which printers those are. You would obviously have to see if your printer is able to print on clear, if that's what you're wanting to do. What I like about the clear though is that it's great for tracing. So let me just take it out for you so you can see. So this is great to trace. Obviously you can do your drawings on it. So that's what I would use the clear for, either that or one of the things that we're going to do. So the first thing I'm going to do is obviously cut out our designs. So we're going to cut those. And then with our clear one, what I want to do is I want to use my Cricut, and I want to do one that is draw and cut, and I want to do one that is cut only. Once it's shrunk, I'm then going to add vinyl to it. So to get this, what I've done is I've added in my design, I've added an offset to that, I've hidden the design, and I'm only going to be cutting out the offset today. So once that is done, once it's shrunk, I will then measure it again, resize my design, and then stick it onto there, obviously. So I'm super excited for this. Let's go ahead and cut these, and then we will get to coloring them in with all the different mediums. And obviously experimenting. So we're going to try it in the oven, we're going to try it with a heat gun, we're going to see which gives us the best results. I think this is a really cool medium. One of the things that I'm dying to do, and I don't have my kids here to do it, is actually do a handprint. So I don't want to do my own handprint. I don't know what I'll do with it, but I actually want to do like a painted handprint of my daughter's, shrink that down and make it into a keyring. I think that would be super cute. So let's get to cutting this, and then we will have some fun. Okay, so I just wanted to show you, with these first ones, I used the fine point blade and I used the miler setting. I had to cut 3 times and it still didn't completely cut through. So with this one I've used, I think it's plastic packaging. So you'll search for plastic packaging, and I've used my deep point blade, and that's a pretty good cut. I'm quite happy with that. So there is some that is still sticking, but I'll show you what we're going to do. So you just kind of pull at it and it comes out. So these have little holes in the middle. I've tried to be a little bit daring with the designs, but not too daring, if that makes sense. So I've tried to like do complicated cuts and stuff like that. So with the ones that didn't completely cut, we're just gonna pull on them and they'll come out. But I think that's the setting. So I used deep point blade and I use the plastic packaging setting. So for the next one, what I'm going to do is I'm going to test the fine point blade with the same cut setting, and then let's see if we get a different result. Something I did notice is at the bottom, my thing was moving because it wasn't adhered to the mat properly. So I am just going to change this to a strong grip mat, one of my older ones that are not too sticky. And that's just going to help my stuff stay down, make sure that we don't have it like sliding around and cutting funny. So I'm going to test this now, plastic packaging with the fine point blade. Let's see how we do. Okay, so this was cut using the fine point blade, and I used the same setting, but I used extra pressure for this one. So what happened is did not roller my sheet down and it moved, and I accidentally messed up like a few of my designs, so I'm quite disappointed in that, but it's fine, we will move on. Okay, it's completely fine. Okay, so what I do want to do here, just for comparison's sake, so let's just move this out the way. So what we have ready to shrink is these. We have our hearts that are ready to shrink. We have our bunnies that are ready to shrink. We have our flowers. So I did accidentally cut this one in half when it moved off of my sheet, but we're going to shrink it anyway. And then obviously we have these. So we're going to stick these in the oven. Now you're going to want to preheat your oven to 180 degrees. I'm using a baking tray. You can use whatever you want. So one of the things I did want to show you is Craft Buddies also has these heat resistant sheets now. So these feel sort of plasticky. You can use it as a baking sheet. You can use it when you're doing what do you call this thing, like HTV, so you can put it over and iron it. So that's pretty cool. I'm going to use this more for my desk, I think. I don't think it's necessary, but I will. So I'm going to stick these in the oven for 2 minutes, 180 degrees. You want your oven to be preheated. You don't want to stick it into a cold oven. So it needs to be preheated to 180 degrees. I'm going to lay them all out on a baking tray, and I'm going to stick it in for 2 minutes. If you notice that they are not flat, you can then put something heavy on top of them. So if you have 2 baking trays, that will work perfectly. I'm actually doing my baking tray upside down so that if I need to flatten it, I can stick another one on top and put something heavy on top. So I'm going to show you how to do that when we sort of hand shrink them. And then obviously once all of that's done, we're going to move on to our next step, which is coloring in or decorating these ones that don't have any color to them. So I'm super excited for that. I also want to obviously add sticker vinyl onto our flowers. And I'm hoping that they're going to be small enough for us to use for earrings, but I'm not sure. So I'm going to clear my desk. I'm going to stick these in the oven, and I'm going to meet you back here in 2 minutes. Okay, so 2 minutes in the oven and they are shrunk. So just to give you a comparison, this is when it was just cut, and that is it shrunk. So this is a good size. I'm going to measure this for you. This is a good size, I would say, for earrings, which is really cool. So then we have our little bunny. So these, the intention is for it to be like a little extra for a key ring. So there's the shrinkage, and it gets quite thick, so it's like quite sturdy. We then have our hearts. So this was kind of a middle size of them. Again, this can be a key ring. We're not done with these though, let me just tell you that. So these were, well, I might still make them earrings, I'm not sure. So this is the Cricut pens that I've drawn with the Cricut machine. So I think that's a good comparison. So now what we're going to do is we are going to shrink it with the heat gun. And this is going to show you how it kind of like crinkles and then evens itself out, and then how you compress it afterwards. So I think it's going to be really cool to watch. So let's get started with that. Now what I've done is I'm actually using this is actually a quilling tool. So I'm using this to kind of hold it in place. You've got to remember though, this gets soft as it heats up and sort of like crinkles. So if you're going to stab it with this, you're going to get stab marks in it, which is not going to be cool. So I learned this little trick on TikTok. This is an old sellotape roll. So we're just going to stick it over like that. And that's going to stop it like moving around. Okay, so we got our heat gun and we're going to just apply heat. Okay, then we're just going to flatten it, give it a nice squish, and there you have it. So heat gun and oven. So you can see the oven has actually shrunk a bit more, and honestly I think I might have done it a little long in the oven. So if you look at it, it's actually got sort of a brown effect to it, which you don't want. So I think the oven, I actually went like 2 minutes 30 seconds. Yeah. So let's do this one next. Flatten it out. And there you have it. How cool is that? I love it. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and shrink the rest. And we shall do that on fast speed so we don't have to keep you here. So as you can see, super easy to do in the oven or with a heat gun. You could do whichever one you want. So that's obviously completely up to you. Look at that. So it's very hard to tell the difference between which was done in the oven and which was done with the heat gun. The biggest difference I can see is that the oven burnt and the heat gun didn't. And the reason the oven burnt is that I did it for too long. So I'm going to take that down to like 1 minute 30 seconds. I think that's going to give us a better result. So now we get to do the fun part. So what I want to do is I want to measure the flour, because obviously I want to cut my vinyl. Okay, so our finished flour is now 3.5 wide. So we got a 3.5 flour. And then what I wanted to do, as well as I just wanted to measure for you how big I started. So this started at 4 centimeters, and I think that's perfect for an earring. So we're going to make those into earrings. I think that's going to be super cute. The bunnies are for key or for bags. The hearts is also for that. Also a key ring, earrings. These I may do earrings, I may do key rings, so we'll see what we're going to do with those. So another thing that you can do with these is you can make little tags, like for your small business, just saying thank you for supporting my small business. You could have your logo on it. You can put whatever you wanted onto it. So let's get on to coloring these in. So I'm going to do pencil crayon, Koki, and the Gelatos. I think those are going to be good options. So let's get to doing that.